heard something and you have only heard it, and you don't try to define that. And the life goes on. If you try this out, you will find that you are free from most of these, anxieties and other barriers, and the life will move quite smoothly.
Actually, that is very true. Most of the time, what people does is they take trouble. That's what mostly happens, and so that worries, that causes curiosity, and then then fear comes eventually,
right.
And they start worrying about it, and then that's where the future comes. Okay, now what will happen next, rather than living in the present. Just as you said, actually, that is very true when it comes into Buddhism. Isn't that so, sir?
Your chances of probably meeting with an accident on the road is much greater than probably the end of the world, But you are not thinking about it, Your fear is, oh gosh, it's going to blow up.
As it is, Mr. Wanigasekera, now you mentioned that very clearly that there is, in Buddhism, there is enlightenment. And a lot of people, if you talk to, are not very concerned about enlightenment. They're actually more concerned about what life is all about. What is enlightenment and how people could actually...
I think there's a misinterpretation of this enlightenment. I think the way the language describes enlightenment is that, you are entering some kind of a state or a haven or some kind of, where you are no longer a human being, you have now attained some kind of, and then probably you will start performing miracles or something. That's a kind of a connotation this enlightenment has with a lot of people. I believe enlightenment itself is discovering this truth within you. The Buddhist practitioners advocate that you need to look at yourself and keep asking the question, who are you? And then, the teachings reveal that it's first you have this personality. You are a human being. On top of that, like a icing of a cake, you have built this personality, and then you live with this personality, which is an illusion. I have a designation, but I'm going to do away with that one day. So similarly, I have a position, I have a vehicle, I have, all these things have created a personality. That personality itself is illusory. So that is not true, because it's not permanent, it keeps changing. Then you come to the human being, and the human being is also something which you have defined as a person with the body and mind, and that too is changing, because if you talk about mind, all your thoughts, it's not, you keep changing your opinions, your thoughts are different, and one thought will override the other. So things are, so is your body, because it's not the same person. Probably I'm not the same person now who walked in a little while ago, because I have got older by a few seconds. Only thing is you don't see it, but it's happening. So this person is also not there. So understanding that there's no person in you is the truth that you ought to be seeing through the Buddhist practices, which is very subtle. Okay, if there's no person, who is experiencing, well, that is exactly what you're supposed to see. Is there a thinker behind the thought? Is there an observer behind what is observed? That's subtle, but you are supposed to see it. But if you make an attempt, if you have a commitment, yes, you will be able to break through this and see this, and that discovery is the enlightenment.
And Mr. Wanigasekera, what you very clearly mentioned, do the current society give an opportunity for human beings to take that break and think? Because I don't think in the rat race that we are in right now, people don't take much time to think about the present, because they are so worried about what they have to do and running around, because for anybody it seems as if 24 hours is not good enough. But it's just that there is ample time that people don't take use of. Why is it that now, as you mentioned clearly, it's just a subtle change in life where you think of, okay, there is something behind everything that happens. Why is it that you always worry about what is going to happen without thinking what is the core into this particular issue or maybe that problem? Why is it that people don't think of that way? What has actually created that kind of illusion?
I think it's a social conditioning. You need to slow down, because otherwise this rat rate itself will burn you down. And if you look at what's happening. You know, today you recognize a person because of the type of vehicle that he's using, or the kind of a house that he's living in, or the position he's holding. And that's how you define a person, and whether you are going to respect him or not, which is a very sad situation. And if you look at most of the parents, they are striving, you know, to make their children to become somebody. And the way, you know, they have to study, they have become robots, you know. Our childhood was totally different to what we see, what the children they are doing today. And this is the rat race, as you said. But you need to slow down. You need to start asking all these questions from yourself. And then you will find that, you know, this happiness that they are going after, it ends up with some kind of a suffering, because, you know, you have so much of anxiety to reach a goal. And by the time you reach that, you have suffered a lot. And even after reaching the goal, another desire has arisen, and then you have to go after that as well. So, you know, it's a cycle, and which never ends. And finally, you have lost your energy, you have burnt all your good things, and then there's nothing left.
Yes,
all right, with that, I think we have come to a close of today's edition on Rise and Shine, and we have got to thank Mr. Vipula Wanigasekera for coming in and having a chat with regard to the end of the world. And definitely it's not going to end, as he says. He is confirming that it's not going to end, but it's all about how we look at it in a Buddhist perspective. And very, very clearly, it's a very simple way of life. Choose the middle path, and that's what we are looking forward to in life. It's a simple way of going on day-to-day life.